Welcome back to the EhChannel. Today we're discussing Americans versus Canadians and whether the Americans have a bad rap, not only from the views of a Canadian, but what I think is a worldly view of Americans altogether. I think it's very broad in general, but I think we can reference my views on how Canadians, or rather the Canadian media, views Americans, being this gun-trotting, anti-healthcare, very anti-socialist type of democracy. I mean, even with the Canadian media, of how they viewed Americans. I mean, take the Mercer Report, for example, with their Talking to Americans segment, or even the CBC show This Hour Has 22 Minutes. It's pretty much a prime example of how Canadian media portrays Americans, but noted that it's a very strong exaggeration on how, in general, we would view Americans. And I think it was only a few videos that I said before that Canadians aren't that much different from Americans. I mean, take for example our guest vlogger Michelle. I mean, she's pretty much as Canadian as any American can get. I mean, if I talked to her for a few minutes online and didn't know which country she was from, I would peg her for a Canadian just based on her first View Vita videos. Other countries I feel view Americans as very ignorant and very brouhaha, like we love our country. And I mean not in the really good sense, but in the like really brash sense. I mean, I remember there was a commercial done almost a decade ago where it was this American tourist talking to a bunch of French ladies in a boutique store in Paris. But the thing was, the commercial was used in France and America as well. But it was how the cultural differences showed. I'll post a link to the video if I can find it for you. But the American tourist tries to speak French by translating through a French language guide. As much as she was trying to get the words right, the Parisians just blew it off and ignored her. Now, the way I saw it, if I was a Parisian watching this, I would interpret it as, oh, the big, loud American trying to get her attention. Versus if I was watching this as an American, I would interpret it as, oh, the American was just trying her best, but got blew off by those rude French women. For me, I have a lot of relatives in the States, so I would go back and forth to America like each summer, and for me, I guess I never picked up on those stigmas and stereotypes till later on in university. I mean, is it a fair assessment? No, it isn't, because I have a bunch of friends who are Americans who would make better Canadians than Canadians would make Canadians. Thanks for watching, and tune in for Rachel on Wednesday and Tom on Friday.